Pieter Bruegel the Elder's 1567 genre painting, The Peasant Wedding, is one of several showcasing peasant life by the Dutch and Flemish Renaissance painter and printer. Pieter Bruegel the Elder was known as Peasant Bruegel because he painted peasants in various elements of their existence in so many of his paintings, but he was also an intellectual, and many of his works had a symbolic significance as well as a moral side. The piece represents the artist's late style, with its use of massive Italianate figures, and is considered one of the best genre paintings of the Northern Renaissance, as well as the most famous of all Flemish representations of peasant life. Although research shows that he was an active part of humanist intellectual groups in Antwerp, which was an important centre for Northern Renaissance painters in Flanders, it was images of this sort that gave birth to his moniker, Peasant Bruegel. While part of its content is obscure, The Peasant Wedding, like practically all of Bruegel's paintings, includes several symbolic parallels as well as distinct moralistic undertones. The wedding reception is seen taking place in a barn in the spring. The furniture is a caricature of a wealthy landowner's hall. An old blanket hangs on the wall behind the bride, instead of a skillfully woven tapestry. The wooden tables and chairs are rustic, and an old door has been removed from its hinges to be used as a banqueting tray. Bread, oatmeal, and soup appear to be the major items available. 2 ears of grain on the wall, together with a rake, serve as visual reminders of the hard labour to which peasants are born. 2 pipers play the Douwe Delzak on the left, while the most distinguished looking visitor sits on an inverted tub on the right. According to Karel van Mander's Lives of the Dutch Painters, Bruegel would frequently mix with the throng at a country fair or village wedding, sketching sketches of people and their way of life that he would later employ in his landscape painting, religious art and genre works. Indeed, this picture has been long viewed as a realistic depiction of rural life. Bruegel, on the other hand, injects this scene with an ambiguous moral judgment, emphasizing how the marriage celebration has devolved into gluttony and self-indulgence. The Peasant Wedding is significantly more realistic, even ordinary criticism, than his earlier etching of the vices, which Bruegel packed with monstrous creatures in the manner of Hieronymus Bosch. The intake of food and alcohol dominates the artwork. With the exception of the bride, her parents, and their 2 special guests, almost every attendee appears to be focused on eating. Even one of the 2 playing musicians looks forward to the food servers. No one appears to be interested in the spiritual significance of the event. A point may be conveyed by the Franciscan monk to the noble gentleman on the far right, or is he simply reciting the tedious details of other marriages he has attended to a patient local landowner? A man in the left foreground is replenishing an apparently infinite number of wine jugs, a motive common in the depictions of the wedding at Cana, while a child is portrayed sucking its finger, a classic symbol of hunger. The latter might have been a disguised reference to a recent famine in Flanders. Of course, an interesting part of the painting is the fact that the identity and location of the bridegroom are still being debated. One contender is the man in the foreground, dressed smartly in black and asking for more wine. This would make sense if the bride was marrying a townsperson, which would also explain the appearance of a few sophisticated metropolitan guests. Alternatively, given that the groom was historically meant to serve the bride and her family, it may be the humble young man who takes dishes from the door brought by the 2 big servants. Sadly, within 2 years after finishing this piece, Bruegel died, and Flemish painting lost one of its finest practitioners. Today, a third of the 45 verified paintings are in the permanent collection of the Kunsthistorisches Museum in Vienna, indicating the Habsburg monarchy's considerable interest in Bruegel's work. Pieter Bruegel the Elder's other well-known peasant genre paintings are The Wedding Dance, The Land of Coquigny, and The Peasant Dance. This has been me, Jack, and go eat something.